Hey guys, today we're going to play some good old Hearts of Iron 4 as Manchukuo, and we're going to try to restore the Qing Empire and claim the Mandate of Heaven and also conquer Japan. So first we're going to do pacify the countryside, and then we're going to select all of our divisions, assign a general, and garrison the north so that whenever pacify the countryside finishes, we can get rid of some of the bandits. And then I'm going to put one research slot on research speed and one on construction and industry type stuff. And now that pacify the countryside is done, I'm going to do trade delegation next. Now I'm going to go down assertiveness and do everything on the Staff the Court of Manchu side except for Independence War. Also, I'm going to do some decisions so that I can make my stability go up since it is very low. Now I'm finally going to start researching some infantry equipment upgrades. And once I finally get the ability to start building some buildings, I'm just going to build some civilian factories for now. Also, if you're playing along, it's going to be very important to make your cavalry just a little bit better, so I'd recommend hiring the Army Offense Expert pretty early on so you can change your cavalry template to 12 width instead of 6 width. Then, once you finally change the cavalry division template, you should start training some of these, and we will need 72 divisions of these cavalry divisions before the Independence War. Also, make sure to do divert machine tooling as many times as you can and as soon as you can, because it gives you some extra factories for your economy. I also raised my conscription level early on because we need a pretty decent amount of it to beat the Japanese and eventually the rest of China. I took mass assault as my first doctrine, but we will eventually change that after it is no longer useful. Now, with my focuses, I'm going to do the inviting the Japanese settlers and just build civilian factories with that. But you can also do the German focuses path to get a couple of military factories, but I do both. It doesn't really matter which order you do it in. And here's another very important thing that I decided to do early on is reorganize the railway system so that I can build a supply hub on the Korean border super quickly, because the supply there is oftentimes really, really bad. I also built a port next to East Hebei in case that turned into a front line where I would need supply. Now, once you get the military factories from the Mission to Germany branch of the focus tree, you should probably pick up a couple of dockyards from the Japanese mission part of the tree. After realizing that breaking the 9 power treaty is kind of pointless, I finally just decided to do the Independence War because China is, at this point, just collapsing entirely. Now the Independence War finally starts, and the first focus I'm going to take after that is actually reclaim the Empire, so I can get a little bit of a bonus defending my own territory and get the manpower and factories from taking over China. And now, after the front line has kind of gotten solidified, I'm expecting some Japanese naval invasions, so I'm going to quick deploy 24 or so of the Kujun, I think is how you say it, divisions. And the reason I'm able to do this is because I basically prepared to steal a bunch of guns from Japan with a decision over and over, and so we got enough to quick deploy these divisions. Now, after quickly rolling over Korea, we are going to set up the army from Korea on the border with Japan and try to just kick them out of China as quickly as possible. And now it seems like victory is on the horizon, but like I said, I was expecting some naval invasions, and that finally happened, and to be honest, they were way larger than I thought they were going to be. Some of them were like 20 division naval invasions, and they gave me quite a bit of trouble. However, even though I was getting naval invaded a lot, I was still able to kick the Japanese out of my land enough to where I didn't have a direct border with them like China did. Well, except in the pockets that they naval invaded, but you get the point. Then, after dealing with these smaller naval invasions for quite a while, the worst one of all happens when I'm already fighting off 2 naval invasions, and a third one comes around Nanjing, and I become very, very terrified that I'm going to lose because of how much land I'm losing in this, but eventually I come out on top. And after pushing Japan back for a while from that big naval invasion, I thought that they were finally going to be out of the Chinese subcontinent, but I was wrong. They didn't naval invade me, it just got caught in a really long stalemate. So, in between the stalemate, I started with offering vassalization to the other Chinese warlords, and eventually getting prepared to attack China itself. This is actually around the time that I also start training 7-2 divisions, because I realize that I'm going to need better quality troops to keep the Japanese off of the mainland, and to defeat China, because China is pretty powerful at this point. And now with more artillery in my army, the mass assault doctrine becomes obsolete, and I switch over to superior firepower. Then, with the offer vassalization focus, I get Yunnan and Xinjiang as puppets, and now I set my front line up against China. And here comes a kind of, I think it's like a 5-minute long time lapse of just me fighting China. If you get bored with the time lapse, there are timestamps in the description that will let you just skip through it, because you probably already know what the end result is. But how Japan gets defeated might actually surprise you. And now after pushing in a back and forth in the really horrible supply parts of China, I finally take their last victory point and capitulate them. And also you might notice that the British, without the help of the United States, have actually defeated the Japanese pretty much. This was pretty surprising to me, just because I've never really seen the Allies do good without the US, and I'm not sure why the US doesn't join the Allies whenever you play as Manchukuo, but it's probably something that's programmed in, so it's not too easy. And now it's finally time to just bring the killing blow to Japan and full annex, well, actually puppet them because it's cheaper. And now I'm just gonna annex my puppets, claim the Mandate of Heaven, then annex Japan, and get all the achievements I need. Then we're gonna do a little bit of fun conquering of Tibet, because nice borders. Now, with both Yunnan and Xinjiang annexed, we have all of China, and so we can finally claim the Mandate of Heaven and become a golden colored Chinese empire. And now it's time for Conquer Tibet, because every time I've played some sort of Chinese warlord, I've realized I don't think I've conquered Tibet on this channel, so let me just do that. Now we can finally annex Japan instead of having it as our subject, which will let us get Hail to the Qing and the Dragon Swallow the Sun, all in one campaign. Now, after conquering Tibet, that's where this video ends, with the restoration of the Chinese Empire, and a little bit extra with the conquest of Japan. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe if you're using this as a tutorial, I hope it helps. I left out some stuff that might be important, but this is really just something that I kind of want to test out once every month with this post-commentary type stuff. If you liked it, subscribe, or just hit the like button. Either way, it helps the channel, and thank you.